Hi, AJ Hartley here, novelist, Shakespeare professor, baby metal fan, and Happy New Year. I thought I would do something a little bit different to close out the year. It seemed like a significant time, um, partly because baby metal are not doing much or anything at the moment, and I'm close to the end of the third album in terms of my own walkthroughs and analysis. And I thought it was a good moment to sort of in a fun way take stock of what I've done so far. So this channel began as a pandemic project. I was trying to sort of articulate to myself why I found this band, who most people dismiss as silly or frivolous in some ways, why I found them compelling emotionally and intellectually. And I thought, well, I'll make a couple of videos and see if I can articulate it to myself. And people responded to those videos. And somewhere along the line, this became a series. It didn't set out to be that, but it became a series. And my purpose changed a little bit. Rather than trying to explain to myself why I found this stuff so powerful, I found myself also trying to articulate it to other people. Now, I realize that most of the people watching these videos are already fans, though it's also clear to me that even the fans don't always take this stuff that seriously. They like it, they think it's fun, but they don't always think that it's worth sort of seriously interrogating or trying to sort of figure out what's going on in the song, how they make meaning, how they function. And that's what I wanted to do, because it's part of what I do as an artist and as a critic, as a scholar. I wanted to bring those two sensibilities together in a sort of rigorous way, in ways that I wasn't seeing a lot of in terms of this band, even amongst fans. I mean, so I guess I've become sort of an evangelist of why I think this stuff is worthy of attention. So my videos have become exemplar case studies of why I think this stuff is worth scrutinizing, because it's like a good wine or something, right? That the more you know about it, the more levels your experience has, the more layers of meaning and sensation you get out of it. And so for me, these are about deepening my response to the music, and other fans, right? And I do that by trying to sort of build a sense of the meanings that are in play in the song by scrutinizing the words of the song, contextualizing them where necessary in terms of Japanese cultural history, considering the way the music is composed and executed, and also looking at the visual elements of performance or music videos, stage design, lighting, costume, and particularly, of course, choreography. Um, Sometimes I get comments saying, "Oh, you're reading too much into it." So I don't actually think I'm reading anything into it. I'm merely articulating to myself what I see, and sometimes that leads me to ideas. I don't think of that as reading anything in. You may disagree, in which case you probably shouldn't be here, um, which is fine. But if you are with me and you do think the stuff is worth responding to, please, if you haven't already done so, subscribe, like, comment on this video, and or email me. I'm always open to questions or to suggestions for future discussions. The purpose of this particular video is to simply go through which videos have attracted the most attention in the 2 years that I've been doing this site. I've done like 70 videos, and I thought I would simply do, in good New Year fashion, a top 20 list. And that top 20 is not necessarily the ones that I think are the best videos. They're not necessarily the songs that I like the best. They are simply the ones that have attracted the most attention. This is a fairly, this is a small channel. So, we're not talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views here, but, we're talking tens, thousands and tens of thousands. So, I thought it was interesting to sort of look at the videos that have attracted the most attention and maybe try to figure out why after the fact. But first, simply to do a straightforward countdown. There are some surprises, both in terms of what's on the list and what's high up the list, but also what's not on the list, which I think you might find interesting. So here we go. So coming in at number 20, we have Awadema Fever. My video was about the song's interest in escapism, in fantasy, and its connection to sort of the drug and hallucinogenic kind of music from the 60s, but also, and more specifically, to sort of bubblegum pop, whether that's the Monkees or the Jackson 5, but even the Ramones and stuff like that. And that was my particular focus.
So these are all like little subgroups, and the idea was basically just to give them some performance training in a small group, right? And so all of this is largely sort of like the talent agency, sort of. Oops, okay. Well, I guess it's just going to keep going.
That's what it was like if you attended the Soccer Gakko concert and Baby Metal had to perform. You went from that.
So at number 19, we have the Dragon Con panel. This was this took place in September in Atlanta. It was me and Kevin and Paul from the Baby Metal podcast, and we did a kind of introduction discussion for a live audience. Panel was really well attended, and people have been watching the video too, so that's cool. Nice. I like this. Oh, she's glam now. Ooh. Number 18, this is one of the only true reaction videos that I have done. Most of the time, I know the songs already pretty well, and I'm analyzing the songs. This is much more like a sort of straight shot response to a band that I wasn't that familiar with. This is Polka Dot Stingray, and I became a real fan of these guys. And I've done one other video, which did not make the list. And I'm going to do more because I really like them. They're a lot of fun and interesting, fantastic instrumentalists, really, really fun. So yeah, Telecaster Stripe was my gateway drug into Polka Dot Stingray. If you haven't checked them out, do so. Number 17, we have Starlight, one of the most recent videos that I've done, and obviously off Metal Galaxy. Some of the songs that are on this list have been out, the videos have been out a lot longer, so they've had more time to accumulate views. Starlight has only been out a few weeks, so I expect that in the future to go higher up the list. For me, this was a very emotional song about loss and absence, in this very sort of powerfully evocative kind of way. So I'm glad to see that it touched a few chords with people. From 16, this was a bit of a surprise to me. Omajinai, not my favorite Baby Metal song, But the video that I did with Alex Gideon and Deanna Tipton, I thought was really interesting because they knew more about Viking metal and folk metal, which is a way to sort of contextualize what this particular song is doing and and the kind of fun that it's having within that sort of subset of metal music. And it made me like the song better. So there's that. This is the only song on the list, I think, that doesn't actually have a video component. This is just me listening to the song and talking about it. Kingslayer with Bring Me the Horizon. It is, of course, the newest song on the list and the only one that features baby metal, but is not technically a baby metal song because they're featured as artists with Bring Me the Horizon. Very different kind of song. And the video that I did explores the content in terms of this sort of Matrix-esque metaphor for people living inside a world which in some ways is not entirely real. Cool song though. See what I mean? Number 14, my video of No Rain, No Rainbow, much of which is about the evolution of Sue as a vocalist and her emotional ownership of the material as she matures. And it's one of my favorite songs. And I particularly the Hiroshima performance, I really like the way this video came out. Number 13 is a surprise to me, Future Metal and Dada Dance. Not the meatiest of songs from baby metal, but an interesting introduction to the material of the third album, with this very sort of Europop kind of focus, but also a more sort of mature sensibility, talking about sort of not just dance, but the intimations of sexuality and attraction, which was a departure for baby metal, and I think it's an interesting song. Number 12, we have Akatsuki, one of my all-time favorites, and the first one of the videos that I made, I think, to really sort of tap into my own emotional response to the song. It's a beautiful, powerful ballad, and it's still, I've heard it 1,000 times, and it still has power to move. At number 11, we have Ijime Dame Zettai, a fan favorite about bonding together over positivity and inclusivity. It's interesting, of course, that these a number of these songs from the first album are the big sort of crowd pleasers. So it makes sense that my videos on these songs was getting a certain amount of attention. And we go into the top 10, and at number 10 we have Tales of the Destinies. Not an obvious choice for a baby metal song in terms of a crowd pleaser, but a song that has attracted a certain amount of YouTube kind of attention because it's so progressive. And it features a lot of sort of complex instrumentation, which I talk about in the video, but also it's a sort of rousing anthem to the power of music to connect people and to take control of their lives. So I think it's a really interesting core idea as well. Number 9, we have Brand New Day, another song off Metal Galaxy, and also featuring some of my very, very bad guitar work. I don't know why it was so bad in this video, but it is. A discussion of the way that the song is put together and the use of different melodies and so on in the construction of the song. Yes. At number 8, we have Night Night Burn, a collaboration that I did with my colleague Carlos Alexis Cruz, who helped me to think through the Latin sounds and choreography featured in the song. And I think he managed to sort of convey the sort of life-affirming funness of the thing. At number 7, we have Shanti Shanti Shanti, another collaboration with colleagues Kastavi Sarkar and Sujata Iyengar, and helping me to think through the very explicit Indian tonalities of this particular song, to wrestle with questions of cultural appropriation and the way that baby metal build a sort of shared community out of a shared cultural heritage coming out of Buddhism particularly. Number 6, we have Headbanger, rousing anthem Another great sort of crowd pleasing, particularly on stage, tremendous fun, energetic, powerful song about seizing the moment and holding on to something that we know is transitory. But it's still fun. It's still fun. How can you not like this? Number 5, Doki Doki Morning. This was actually the first video that I made. The sound is terrible. I apologize. At some point I will redub the music. But this was the video that started it all, the one that I set out to sort of say, what is it about this group that gets my attention? And there are lines in the song and musical features in the song that I think sort of hooked me and made me think there's something really interesting going on here. So this is the place where it began. Number 4, Rondo of Nightmares, perhaps a surprising entry into the top 5. Though I think this is another example of songs that had a lot of attention on YouTube, particularly from instrumentalists, from musicians who were looking at the sort of very progressive and instrumental virtuosity of the long lead in to the song proper. So I think that's partly why this song features so highly on the list. Into the top 3, and number 3 is, of course, Megitsune. No surprise that this finishes high on the list. This is perhaps Baby Metal's signature song. It's the song where they sort of embrace and explore their Japanese-ness and their own sort of moving away from some of the elements of both that and their own immediate musical past as they sort of define themselves and their brand of music and femininity. Great song, and deeply steeped, of course, in the mythology of the fox god, and a lot of my video is about exploring what the kitsune is and what it means to Japan and to this particular band.
Thank you, Baby Metal.
And yeah, thank you, Baby Metal.
Thank you, Baby Metal, from the UK.
Thank you, Baby Metal. You are awesome. Rock on.
Merci, Baby Metal.
Keep going. Thank you, Baby Metal.
For everything over the past 10 years, I just want to say thank you.
But I think all I can really say is thank you, Baby Metal, for everything that you've done. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Number 2, another non-surprise. This is the Thank You Baby Metal video, which I put together through contributions from lots of people all over the world. It was the first Baby Metal video that I did to hit 10,000 views. It's a genuinely global fan response. I was really glad to see people see this, and recently Junichi added Japanese subtitles to it, which seems to be expanding the viewership even more. So I was really pleased to see this one finish high. And that leads us to the top spot, which is a surprise. Wow. Yeah. Atarashi Gakko, Otonna Buru. I've done several Atarashi Gakko videos. This is the only one to make the top 20, but as you can see, it handily beats out the competition in terms of views. I don't know why. I don't honestly understand why, particularly since, as I said, people aren't watching the other ones so much, which have only a few thousand views each. I'm going to do more Atarashi Gakko videos because I do think they're a really interesting band. But yeah, I was excited and surprised to see them beat out all the competition. And that's it. That's my top 20 for the year. Actually, no, for the lifetime of this channel. Maybe if the channel is still in existence a year from now, I'll do this again and we'll see if the lineup has changed. If any of those songs on the list are things you haven't seen, please check them out. I will say that there are a number that I was surprised by their absence and in some cases disappointed. You'll notice, incidentally, that the second album, Metal Resistance, is not very well represented on the list at all. Most of the songs are from the first album and the third album. I'm not entirely sure why. This could be as much about Amazon, about YouTube algorithms as it is anything else. But for whatever reason, those other songs don't get as much attention. Though I will say that some of them, some of the videos that I made on some of the songs from Metal Resistance are among my favorites. Amore, Yava, Road of Resistance, Karate. I was really surprised that the Karate video didn't get more attention because the song is so well known. GJ and Sis Anger. And they're not the only ones, of course, that didn't get a lot of attention. The biggest surprise to me is that neither Papaya nor Gimme Chocolate make the list. And I can't help thinking that's maybe because there's so many reaction videos to those two songs out there, so that mine kind of get buried in the mix. Or that people think of those songs as being the light, playful end of baby metal, and the assumption, therefore, that there's nothing really to talk about. I don't think that's true, obviously. I think both of those songs are actually really interesting and rich. So if you haven't seen those videos, check them out. And there are a couple of other videos that I felt good about making that didn't get a lot of attention. Metataro. Not one of my favorite baby metal songs by any means, but I got a lot out of making that video and exploring the sort of superhero stuff behind it. And I was pleased with the way the video came out. What else would I like to see on the list? I really like the Kagero video, the other Atarashi Gakko videos, the Polka Dot Stingray video. So there's lots of stuff that could finish up on the list at some point, and maybe, as I say, in a year or so from now, maybe I'll do this again and we'll see if the list has changed. In the meantime, as I said at the beginning, please subscribe, comment. This is an odd channel. Everything I read suggests that the relationship between views and subscriptions is inverted on my channel. That it seems like a lot of people say, the number of views per video is usually about 1/10 of the number of subscribers you have. My channel does not work like that at all. I have way, way, way more views per video than I have subscribers. I don't know what that's about. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And that's it. Happy New Year. And I'll see you in 2022, which hopefully will be a better year. Cheers. Bye-bye.